Good morning. I'm Catherine Levine. I'm a vestry member and one of the co-chairs of the Stewardship Committee, along with Gail Perry, who is here somewhere, but I don't see her.
There she is.
There's Gail. And I get the pleasure of introducing Sally Goodnight today. I met Sally a decade ago when I was a newlywed and I was the church school teacher of Caroline up front, who was 5 at the time. And Sally took the time to build relationship with me, even though I was just a volunteer church school teacher. And 10 years later, Caroline's a frequent acolyte now. Now I'm a mom of a kindergartner, and Sally is leading our annual campaign. Sally has become my friend in that past decade, and I am so excited that she is bringing her passion, her enthusiasm, and her bravery to tell it like it is to us and our annual campaign this year. So please welcome Sally Goodnight.
Hi. Actually, I have a lavalier. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and I'm so glad that you're all here. Thank you so much for coming today and for listening. And my family, Bill, my husband Bill, and daughter Caroline are up front and are probably terrified that they have given me a microphone. But I am in church, so feel a little safer there. All right, so we're going to go through this PowerPoint in a second, but I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm up here, why I agreed to serve as chair. I'm a grassroots fundraiser who appreciates every single cent that I raise for the things that I love. I raise money for schools, for PTAs, teachers, and now the Chapel of the Cross. I believe that when your priest asks you to serve, you serve. I turned this role down twice because I was in the middle of the sandwich generation, and I was the sweaty tuna in the middle of that sandwich. Sadly, but happily, because they're in their eternal lives, I'm in the open-faced sandwich portion of my life now, and I volunteered to chair this year. Plus, I'm not afraid to ask you for money, and I have no shame. It's the truth. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the importance of the annual campaign to our parish. The pledge period starts today, whoop, whoop, October 1st, and thanks to you that have already made your pledges, we have a pledge tracker that is out at the Welcome Center, so you're going to be able to see how we grow the pledges this year. But I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the annual campaign pays all of our church bills. We pay our clergy that way, we pay our utility bills, and all of the fantastic programming that comes your way every single day here at the Chapel of the Cross. So, Caroline, this is where I would like for you to come up. Caroline, my lovely daughter, is going to go around with hugs and kisses from the Stewardship Committee. We're going to play some games here, people. All right. Yeah, this is going to get good. So I want to know, who can guess how many households we have in the parish here at the Chapel of the Cross? Please raise your hand. Elizabeth Marie, I'm sorry. We'll just give you hugs and kisses. I'm going to go with Kate. How many?
400.
Higher. Somebody else. Back here on the left. Higher. Michelle.
837.
Getting closer. Higher.
926.
Close, but no cigar, but we are going to give you some hugs and kisses over there, Miss Sandra. 985. 985 households. Okay, Caroline's not done yet. What percentage of people pledge out of those 985? Start raising your hands, people. Did I hear 40? Half. Carol, you said 43? Go see Miss Carol in the back, Caroline. It is 49%. Okay? And then how many households give but don't pledge? 55. The demographics of the people who pledge, I found this out from signing letters and writing notes to you. We are heavily supported by the senior members of our congregation, and I want to say thank you so much for your faithful financial obligation. Just go ahead and give Nancy some. She's all good because she's one of the seniors. She's one of the seniors. Don't worry, everybody's getting hugs and kisses at the end, because I know Henry Chase back there is like, Sally, I've been talking to you all morning. Hugs and kisses. Okay, so now we're going to go through our beautiful PowerPoint created by Jeff Crawford. Come and see the PowerPoint. Yeah, just take a break there, Caroline. Okay, hang on. It's all good. All right, so this is our beautiful chart that shows where the annual funds go that we raise with the annual campaign. And I want to point out here, salary and benefits, 52%. Y'all, we have the best clergy and the best people working here at the Chapel of Christ. I mean, so over here, I don't know if any of you know her. This is Diane McComey. She's our parish administrator, and she keeps us straight, people. She does. Jeff creates all of our content, like this beautiful PowerPoint, everything that you see online, all of our print work, the fantastic t-shirts that he did the design on the front. So do you know that there are some churches that aren't able to financially support full-time clergy? Okay, so you do know that. All right, so what happens? Those clergy have to have outside vocations. They have to go somewhere to earn their mortgage or rent money. So we are so privileged to have clergy here on call all of the time for our needs and here to minister to us and to make sure the programming goes on here. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want any of my clergy having to work a side hustle as a barista somewhere and handing me my coffee, okay? But my big point here is we don't want them to stress about how they're going to pay their personal bills or having to decide between a life of service in the ministry or a different vocation. Okay, so Caroline, get ready. Who knows how much all the utilities for our fantastic Chapel of the Cross cost every month? What do we invest in paying for the water? Who's in the back there? How much? You know what? You're very close. Go to the back, 7,800. So y'all are going, I'm really glad I'm only paying my own light bill. Okay? This is a big facility that nourishes us all, so that's what we do. Let's go on. How many church services do we hold a year here at the Chapel of the Cross? A lot. I know. Elizabeth Marie, she says, I can't even count anymore. How many? Show of hands. Who thinks they know how many services are offered in a year? Harriet. No, here. No, we're. Okay. What do you think, Harriet? 650. That's actually a little bit over. I'm sure it feels like 650 to the clergy who don't go home, but it's actually 400 plus. So go ahead and give hugs and kisses to Miss Harriet there. We also invest in the beautiful vestments that our clergy wears. Vestments, let's face it, it gets hot up there. $20 a pop to clean them, okay? But we're not gonna like Febreze them or anything like that and make people wear those funky things. A cost of an owl, is it a cincture? Cincture? It's about $200 a set. Well, let's face it, I mean, that's part of the glory of the Episcopal Church, is the pageantry, our vestments, all of those things. So I just wanted you to know a little bit about that. All right, so faith in action to our nonprofits in 2023. Y'all, how many people had fun doing Habitat stuff yesterday? Yes. It was a great time. And you can have a great time and do all this wonderful service. We give $60,000. We are able to contribute that money from the annual fund to Faith in Action. And on In-Gathering Sunday, which is Sunday, November 12th, that's when we'll do the Project 5000, and we will gather all of our bags of food to help feed, just like feeding the 5,000. And I know that when we work together, we accomplish so much with that, and there's nothing like seeing that truck get filled. Okay, singing at church. How many people are in the choir? Who knows? Well, all of us are in the choir, but anyone who attended the Sunday after Easter knows that is 100% not true. It was rough in there, y'all. I know Mrs. Levine is. Who knows how many people are in the choir? Back Kathy Cobb. 85. Not quite. We're a little at 100, and I believe there's a waiting list for the children's choir, the adult choir. Y'all, who has a waiting list for the choir? Usually begging people. That's how great the music program is here. Okay, we love our cake here at the Chapel of the Cross. And if you have ever had to stand back and wash the dishes in the dishwasher while we want to support our environment and reduce, reuse, recycle. If you spent 3 hours back there after our church on the ground or lunch on the grounds, then you know why we use compostable products. How much? Cake. What do you think? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. Paper products and cake, well worth it. A hearty investment in our fellowship, which I'm going to get a piece of that cake when I'm done with this. Okay. I feel like the biggest investment we make as a parish is in raising little Episcopalians, okay? It's an investment of our funds. How much do you think we invest in one child from birth all the way through 18 when we kick them loose? 5,000, Lila? Hit the nose on the head there, Lila. Lila, you grab yourself some hugs and kisses and share them with your row, because Nancy Tunison looks hungry over there. Okay. Why were we founded here at the Chapel of the Cross by Dr. William Mercer Green? To support the University of North Carolina and the University of North Carolina students. Part of that ministry, we invest in feeding those kids. We invest in having a Tuesday night program here that Mary Cat runs. And frankly, after what's been going on at UNC this year and some of the hard things that those kids have endured, more kids have come here looking for support. And I'm so thankful we are able to provide that for these young adults. We invest $6,000 into feeding our young adults that are looking for support here and looking to worship with us. We actually do get a lot of food donated to that too. Oh, Anita's going to be so happy. How many pounds of compost are generated by our program? And Anita, you cannot answer this question.
3 tons.
3 tons? Okay, Roman, anybody else? 30 tons of waste. 6,000 pounds, that is 3 tons. So let's give Roman some hugs and kisses over here. But look what we have kept out of the landfill, y'all. We are taking care at the Chapel of the Cross of our beautiful earth. All right. How many people does it take on a Sunday volunteer-wise to run this ship, y'all? 42. How many? It is 42, Anita. Yeah, and actually she didn't have, I don't think she had access to this information, but you know what, even if she did, hugs and kisses to Anita, because she's actually doing the compost stuff too, so she needs some candy. I know, all right, there we go, 42. So before we have Roman and Elizabeth Marie come up and have some question and answer with them, our goal this year is 10.9% increase in dollars and pledges. Well, why? Everything is getting more expensive. Health insurance costs are rising. The cost of maintaining our grounds. The cost of electricity. It's all going up, y'all, because I know you feel that at home. So we're asking you to prayerfully consider an increase in your pledge this year, with our ultimate goal being $1.83 million. And someone says, you know, are you intimidated? No, I'm not intimidated by that goal, because y'all, we can do this together. I'm not asking one person to write this hefty check. I'm asking all of us to look into our hearts and to pray and consider giving even more back to the place that gives the most to us. Because let's face it, you're never going to be sorry that you gave your money to the Chapel of the Cross. It's true. I've been sorry sending my money elsewhere, but never here. And we would like to invite the number of people to actually pledge. So this is like, oh, well, what happens? And Elizabeth Marie will cover this in a minute. You know, if something happens in my family, and I've promised you, we're not a repo company. We're not a mortgage company. Like, Roman's not going to show up banging on your door or anything like that. So just know that that's an instance when we'll be here for you. So let's have Roman and Elizabeth Marie come on up. And they are so thankful that I'm not making these questions up as I go along, that they are scripted. Okay. Thank you all for being up here this morning.
Yes. Sally, do you want me to speak to that, what you just said? What happens if my pledge
please.
changes? So what happens if your estimated pledge for the year changes is usually someone reaches out and they said, hey, this thing happened in my life. And what our response is, gosh, that is hard. How can we support you? And so very often those conversations result in support from a cleric's discretionary fund, which is funded by the dollars that we receive from doing weddings and funerals in the parish. And so just that's a real conversation that regularly happens amongst parishioners because life really happens.
Okay.
And I'd like to make one clarifying comment about me showing up at someone's door, knocking it down. I'll only do that if you lie to me, and then or us.
I have nothing to do with that. I just want to go ahead and say that. So if Roman shows up, that's between y'all and Roman. Okay, so let's go on to our questions. And question number 1 is for Mother Elizabeth Marie. Can you please talk to us a little bit about why the practice of pledging is so important?
Yes, I would say because God is so important, right? Like that we exist comes from God's first generous act in creation. And so for me, as I think about offering those resources of life, those gifts that sustain Christian community, I think about that first act of generosity given to us in creation, and then the generous gift of God's Son in Jesus Christ, and the ways in which we then get to be a powerful voice both here in our community and around the world through our relationships. So I think of it first as a spiritual discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Spiritual budgeting, Nancy said, yes.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Roman, we've continued to increase our campaign goal since emerging from the pandemic. And can you please speak to that and the positive implications that increased giving will mean to us as a parish?
Sure. I think a word that we can all use to describe our lives during the pandemic was survive. From a church life, from a personal life, from a financial, fiscal life. A word that I'd like to use to describe what you're seeing today and in our future is thrive. And the only way that we can thrive, and Sally did a great job outlining all the things that are going on here at church, the only way that we can thrive, in addition to just keeping the lights on and moving forward, is to increase our goals. We have a fully staffed clergy team, a fully staffed lay staff team, wonderful programming, wonderful ministry, and the importance of continuing that momentum and how we thrive going forward is important. So we'd like to shift from survival to thriving.
100% agree with that. Yeah, y'all, it's time to move forward. Okay, Elizabeth Marie, as we think about this opportunity to consider increasing our pledge or making a pledge for the first time, what guidance can you share with us?
So one, I would invite you to consider doing so prayerfully and really actually spending time with God, thinking about how does that relationship root you? And then from that place, looking at your resources and your budgeting and making your gifts. So there are very real fixed costs like rent or mortgages or newly in our life, college tuition. But it's interesting for me as I look over our family's budget, our commitment to our parish is one of those top 5 things that are important to us in life and in thriving. Yes.
Okay. I agree. As a parent, and along with Bill, who's getting ready to write the final tuition check in the spring, yeah, that's a whoop whoop right there. Okay, for kid number 1, I will say. All right, Roman, are pledges of any size important to the campaign?
Yeah, I would say not only are they important, but they're meaningful on 2 fronts. One, to show commitment and support of everything that you're hearing about today, everything around you. They are of critical importance.
All the time. Teachers and the MacGyvers with budgets too. And so I feel like that is why when someone says, but my pledge isn't huge. I don't need huge. We don't need huge. Together as a group is how we will raise the funds in order to make our church have the opportunity to thrive and to support our clergy, to support the programming that we want, raising those little Episcopalians, y'all. And then also, frankly, the gatherings that we have here to support all of us as adults, the Bible studies, the Moving On group that's here on Sunday nights. There are so many programs here. There's something that you can find here and say, hey, that's my thing. And I love that. I love that about this community. Okay, so we're going to take any questions that you have at this time. Does anybody have questions? Please raise your hand.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I see here, and then Carol.
Well, I just want to know about the symbol.
The symbol is the theme that, it's here on my shirt, not here, here. Jeff Crawford designed this for us. So it was what evoked come and see. And so I think you can see flowers, you can see maybe Trinity. When I look at it, I see like kaleidoscope and thinking about the different ways that God's love is refracted in community. But that is one of those open-ended, an image might speak to you in a different way. Okay, Carol.
Talk about the difference between writing a monthly check versus a check at the end of the year and how that might impact the budget.
Oh, can I please answer this?
Yes, Sally.
Thank you. Okay, so imagine that you all receive your income at the end of the year. So all through the year, you're like, I wonder if it's going to get paid. Or passing the plate. Imagine, especially now, I know it looks really scary now because so many of us do things online, that the plate comes up, there's like $3 in it. I'll still use those $3. I'll use it in any way possible. But it helps us plan. If you pledge and you give over the whole year, it helps us plan. Now, I will not turn down your excess cash at the end of the year, though. So if you're looking at your budget and you're like, wow, I really don't want Uncle Sam to have any of this, the chapel across was more than welcome, and we will welcome that donation. So does that make sense? Pledging and letting us know and doing it. You can do it weekly. You can have it drafted out of your bank account. You can write a check. Did you know that if you are the recipient of IRA funds and you look and see, you can have a check cut from your IRA directly to the Chapel of the Cross, and then you're not paying taxes on it. But do not go to me 100% for your accounting advice, or you might go to jail. But okay, we have a question in the back.
I just wanted to say one way that that I try to reduce these big numbers down to something meaningful is to calculate what the per day cost of operating the church is, and then what percentage my pledge covers. Is my annual pledge keeping the church open for one day? Is it a part of a day? Is it for a number of hours? By breaking it down, those big numbers become a little bit more sensible.
I would agree. $6,100 per day is what it takes to run our parish. Yes, Dee?
Oh, Dan.
For those of us who weren't raised Episcopalians, could you explain what funds of these go to the diocese and what percentage do we get back? I don't understand how that works.
Okay, Elizabeth Marie will have to answer that.
So all Episcopal churches participate in funding the diocese, and then those dioceses participate in funding the Episcopal Church, which is in 15 or 16 different countries, all part of the same church. Our diocese handles pledging to the diocese with a flat percentage of our revenues, and I believe it is like 10.45%. It's 10 and a fractional portion. And so that is money that we send every year to the diocese. And we receive back from the diocese. We run campus ministry on behalf of the entire Diocese of North Carolina. So every month, the Diocese of North Carolina sends us a check totaling close to $80,000 in a year for university ministry. We're also participating in training new clerics for the Diocese of North Carolina. And so every month for 2 years, we receive funds in appreciation and in support of training our new curates. So we are beneficiaries, grateful beneficiaries of those resources that are given by the church for the benefit of the church.
And I would also say that diocesan contribution, that also goes up every year as well. So that does not stay flat, which is how we begin to look at what our budget looks like.
And I would like to add that the diocese makes every effort to keep that cost as low as possible. And the assessment per parish has been going down over the years rather than going up.
And I want to add that our clergy need clergy. They need people to talk to. They need support services. They need in-house, what do we call it, conferences and training. They need the kind of stuff that we all need to keep us doing our job well. And a lot of our contribution goes to that kind of thing, to support our clergy in being the clergy that they are.
Yes. And y'all, we have the whole gold standard of clergy here. We are very fortunate to have people, and people are wanting, there are some people, none here, that are wanting to leave the ministry. And the clergy can be, it's a lot if you think about it, to be the spiritual guidance and the spiritual support, the spiritual mother or father of a congregation, and to share in people's joy, share in people's sorrow, provide support during tragic times. And we want to make sure that they have the resources they need. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this campaign this year, is because I want to make sure that they can leave here at the end of the day and not be concerned. Yes, Lala.
I wonder if you all could speak to senior citizens living on a fixed income and those who trying to support the new organ fund in addition to one's pledge.
Do you want to start, or would you like me to?
I think Elizabeth Marie had touched on that a little bit earlier, is what is meaningful to you, and how do you support all the things that are going on here at Chapel of the Cross? And I think it's a very obviously a very personal decision, and I do feel it does require reflection. So I don't have an easy answer. I think it really is a very personal decision. The important thing to consider is that there is support for everything that we're doing here, whether that's an annual fund or the organ or anything else that you care to support. We are always appreciative of that.
I agree. We are grateful for what you are able to contribute. And what we are not going to ask of you is that you pick, all right, well, I need to maybe cut back on my medicine or cut back on my food or cut back what. No, we would never ask that of you. We just ask you to look into your hearts and do what you can. My other big goal here is to increase the number of people who do pledge to the church. And I'm saying that having sent a lot of letters to Carroll Woods, Carolina Meadows, Galloway Ridge. What am I missing?
Cedars.
The Cedars. Yet the Forest at Duke. I mean, these are things. And my own mother, so I have to show you. This is Mama. I brought Mama to church today. And she'd be the first one to say, show my picture to everybody. So this is my mother. And we did the same thing. My mother did. And we're not going to ask you to give us your last cent, is what I'm going to say. Do what you can, and we appreciate it all. And especially from those of you who have been steadfast, long-term supporters of the Chapel of the Cross. Because I know that a lot of you have been here a lot of years. And so I want to say thank you, because that is what I see. And I want to encourage younger people to make a pledge, to show your children how to make pledges, because that's how I learned. And every time I do it now, I feel like I'm honoring my mother too.
Sal,
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in with just two quick things. One,
All right.
Jeff also reminded me that the logo, it's like intersecting eyeballs that are layered on each other. So I forgot that element of it. I see you, Barbara, and I've got Amy. But I also, Lila, to your question, a lot of times, so I talk with people of all ages around funeral planning. And like, what are you going to do with the stuff that you can't take with you, which is all of it. And one of the things that I invite is for folks to, as they consider a pledge, also consider what does it look like to make a planned gift, an estate gift, your will, your IRA, to plan and make provision for the church. And I've had folks say, I'm really excited to functionally like endow my pledge so that I will keep giving for the rest of time to sustain this Christian community that has sustained me. So that's one thing that I invite people to think about as well.
Barbara?
Yes, I would like to just say thank you to Sally and her team. I know the clergy are deeply appreciative, but I want to thank you on behalf of this group from every level, the individual level, the meeting with people who are going to do the calling, to this great planning that you have given us so much good advice. Sally, you are just a wonderful leader and motivator, and we just thank you very much.
Well, thank you. While I'm standing up here, there are so many people behind this effort, Catherine and Gail, and the entire vestry, Elizabeth, Marie, all the clergy, Diane, who I'm not kidding is really keeping me straight, because I was ready to throw a goal out there like in June. She's like, simmer down. Everyone here in the church and the staff, and then all of you for being here today, for considering it, for reading all of the mail that I'm sending you, and emails and Facebook posts and everything else, because I'm all over the place. Yes, Henry?
Here's the plan.
Woo, Henry! Oh, you want me to take it? You know I'll run and get it.
No, I want you to come get it. I want to know how to get a t-shirt.
I'm gonna talk to. Thank you. Henry and Beverly. I'll work on the t-shirts. So one of the what? Thank you.
That t-shirt will be a good.
That's right.
Good billboard.
That's right. Henry's going to be our billboard, one of our billboards. Jenny Commons, who is a parishioner here, she is a person who does t-shirts and all this kind of swag. She does it for swim teams and everything else. And when I asked her, Do you think you could do some t-shirts for our clergy, staff, vestry, and our stewardship committee, who has been behind this in full force? She said yes, so I'm going to see if maybe she can crank out some more t-shirts, or we'll find another company to do it. Oh, and by the way, did you know when you give a pledge, although they're running behind, when you donate a pledge, you're going to get yourself a handy dandy, beautiful little car magnet that says the Chapel of the Cross on it to put on your car. Again, Henry, y'all gonna be driving around, Henry and Beverly be driving around with their Chapel of the Cross t-shirts
Is that a
and their
pledge
car
right
magnets.
there? Is that a pledge right there?
This is a pledge. Yes. Yes. He's going to give, Roman's going to give away his t-shirt. Amy has. Okay, we have time for one more question from Amy Dauber, longtime chair of annual campaigns and Oregon campaigns and everything.
Is it working? Yeah, it's working. Oh, I just wanted to add something to what Carol said, and just to clarify a little bit about that end of the year or one-time gift. You can make a pledge now as to what you think that amount, kind of estimate what you think that amount would be. That helps us out a lot in planning. So that gift can come in as a one-time check sometime at the end of the year, but it'd be really helpful. And as Elizabeth Marie said, things come up. So maybe it will be more than that, maybe it'll be less than that, especially in the terms of like a minimum required distribution or something like that. People don't exactly know what that is until it comes. So, but if you can make that, it is a pledge. It's not a payment right now when we're pledging. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you all.
Okay, well, thank you all for being here today. I'm going to be in the 11:15 service also, as will Elizabeth Marie and Catherine and everybody else. So anyway, and I'll be back at 4 to see all the furries and feathers, and that is just like happy mayhem right there. So anyway, thank you for being here today. Thank you for considering your gifts to the Chapel of the Cross. The best bang for your tax-free money right there. Thank you very much. Your tax deductions.
The service is about to start.